More and more roads are under construction in Central Florida as the state and local tolling agencies look to spend millions more fixing and expanding our roads over the next couple of years. Drivers, you'll need to get used to navigating those work zones. Nationally, there have been 710 fatal crashes in work zones in 2017. That is a 32% jump from 2013. Florida saw a 10% jump over that same time. But most are preventable if drivers pay close attention to the work zone warnings. The trooper in this patrol car is still recovering from this crash in August 2018. Watch as you see her tossed from side to side within the vehicle after another driver hits her car from behind. Trooper Tariq Dali knows that feeling all too well.
I did see the video, yes. It was terrible.
Did it remind you of this day?
It did remind me of that day. I reached out to her as soon as I could, to see how she was doing and to tell her that I was there. And I went through the same thing.
There's no video from Trooper Dali's crash, but the pictures are enough for him. They are the reminders of how he survived. When you look at these pictures, what's the first thing that goes through your head?
It's horrific.
That's your car.
That is my patrol car, yes. I'm surprised I walked out of there. But it was pretty tough.
How scary was that for you?
It was pretty shocking, scary, I would say, yeah. At first I didn't know what was happening because I was never involved in a crash like this. And then when I realized what happened, I just pushed my way out of the car. The car was, the door was jammed, and I went looking for what happened, the other vehicle, and tried to get the guy out of the car.
So you tried to help this guy even though he crashed into your car?
Yes, that's my job, and even if it was my job, that's what I would do, help people.
That night started out like any other overnight shift, working the construction detail so that drivers would slow down and don't end up in the same lane as construction workers.
It was a typical detail, typical day, and suddenly I got hit from behind. It was at such a speed that it sent my car spinning. Thankfully, it wasn't towards traffic, it was away from traffic.
You don't have to drive far to find a road under construction. From our toll roads to interstates to local roads, many agencies are now spending more than ever to improve the roads we use every day. And it's not slowing down. Over the next 5 years, the Central Florida Expressway Authority announced its plans to spend another $1.9 billion for road work right here in Central Florida. David Feisey has spent 15 years working in construction zones and creating the very traffic plans for how drivers navigate it. In your opinion and in your years of experience, how many of these crashes in work zones are preventable if people just followed what these signs said?
100%.
No doubt in your mind?
No doubt in my mind. We have all the warning devices to try to get people to calm down and really control the traffic and the speed in the work zone.
And there are a number of devices drivers can expect, all of them strategically placed before getting a driver to change course.
The driver's expectation, anytime that they step in a vehicle, is not to see construction workers or vehicles in the road, but there's a need for it. So we have to be able to warn drivers if we're changing their expectancy, and we do that through warning signs. First example is we're going to get your attention by telling you that there's road work ahead. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to tell you what the problem is. The problem is the right lane is closed. The next thing we're going to do is give you a solution, and that solution in this case is to merge left. You're going to come upon a series of devices, and depending on what type of a work zone and how long it's going to be in place, behind me here you'll see we have a standard traffic cone, 36 inches, 12 pounds, double reflection collar, and that's typically what you'll see in the overnight hours. That device is very effective, but it's not as effective as a traffic drum. Then you've got your transition area, and the transition area is really the most dangerous part for a driver because that's where we're asking a driver to move from one lane to another. So after you go through the transition area, then comes your work area, and this is where the actual road work is taking place. And that area, generally you'll see devices like Type 3 barricades, with a road closed sign on it, or you'll see message boards that we can change the message just to give the driver a little more alertness and provide them more direction.
And had the driver followed those kinds of directions the night he hit Trooper Dali, he likely wouldn't have the pain every morning reminding him of the night he survived.
To be reminded of that every single morning, what's that like?
It's not a good feeling. I think back and was there any way I could have avoided it? And we just got to raise awareness and make sure that people move over.
To prevent more of these crashes in work zones, we want you to drive safe and smart. Visit drivesmartflorida.org.